Mark Safe here again. In this lesson, we're going to discuss how to play your hand if you flop either a straight or a flush while out of position. In our last lesson, we discussed playing flopped straights and flushes from position, and many of the principles we discussed in those situations apply to your hand when you're out of position as well. Once again, this means the board texture is the most important factor to consider when deciding how fast or slow to play your hand. If you flop a straight on a non-scary board, you can play your hand pretty slow even when you're out of position. If you were the pre-flop raiser, you should continuation bet as normal and hope for a raise behind you. If you didn't raise before the flop and have a sophisticated opponent behind you, you can make a weak lead here in order to induce a raise. Against weaker opponents, you should check call and reevaluate your action on the turn. If the board gets scary, you can bet the turn. Otherwise, you can check call again and then bet the river for value. If the board is really coordinated, say our Jack of Spades, 10 of Spades, 7 of Hearts flop from the last lesson, you're going to want to bet if you were the pre-flop raiser in the hand. If you didn't raise before the flop, you're going to want to check raise after your opponent continuation bets the flop. You're going to want to play your flop flushes in the same way you play your straights, leading out as normal if you were the pre-flop raiser. If you didn't raise, you should weak lead your hand against more experienced or aggressive players and check call against weaker opponents. With a weak flush, you're not going to want to get tricky with your hand at all. If you raised before the flop, make your standard post-flop continuation bet and hope for a raise behind you. If you didn't raise, then you're going to want to play for the big check raise behind your opponent's post-flop continuation bet.